Okay, so it's a day of chicken farms. One of the players on my server was asking about ideas for chicken farms. All of these have been built completely in survival mode. All of them are completely attainable in survival mode, and for the most part, there's very little redstone. Now, this design here, I made it out of glass for for the sake of visibility, but it can be made out of virtually anything. The water here keeps the chickens up, keeps them from escaping in most cases. Now, I do have a little straggler over here that got pushed out, but for the most part, they just keep hopping, and they need at least 2 blocks of space. If they only have 1 block of space, technically they should be able to clear the water, but Minecraft in its infinite wisdom won't let them, so they'll suffocate, die, and your farm's no good. This horizontal portion is pretty arbitrary. I did it to give so you could occasionally see the egg sliding out, but this hopper and chest that's here, you could really just slap it down vertical and take up a lot less space. And there's actually a lip in there that's actually less efficient that way, especially if you move these hoppers over here. But here's the basic proof of concept. I'm sure people will find some different way to integrate it in their house other than what I've done here, but there's the idea. The next one is this. This has got 4 hoppers in the middle and water out 6 blocks. So the water doesn't reach the hoppers, but it's there to push everything towards the hoppers. All these chickens get crowded into the middle. When they lay eggs, the eggs will get pushed through the crowd and towards the middle. And then underneath is the 2x2 of hoppers and collections. And I've got 64 eggs up, or 64 chickens up here, which is a bit unreasonable. I'm fairly sure some of them have probably died by now. No feathers in chickens. Okay, but this is another proof of concept. Takes up more room than the other, but it lays smaller, so you could actually, technically, you could try to stack these, or sneak these in between floors on your houses if you build tall houses. Now, this one's the more complicated one. This does require some redstone, so I'll explain this one from bottom to top, the way you'd end up building it. You got your collection chest. Pretty simple. You got hoppers leading into the collection chest. Pretty simple. You got half slabs on the hoppers. Now, the reason for this is, as you can see, lava doesn't reach the half slab. Half slabs block any non-living entity from reaching them. And the chickens, or the chicks themselves, are considered half blocks, but also a living entity, so they can walk on the half slab and safely under the magical hovering lava. As soon as they grow up into an adult chick, or adult chicken, which takes approximately 20 minutes, they're now tall enough to reach the lava. So when they reach the lava, burn and die. That would mean that they would give up cooked chicken, they'd give up feathers. Occasionally this will get destroyed by the lava, but since this is a completely passive build, you're really not building it for time sensitivity, so if every 4th one gets destroyed by the lava, you still have a chest down here that should be filling up. Now, the redstone here is really the hardest part. You're having the comparator pointing at this dispenser, and you're having it ticking it so that this bulb is on. Now, when it detects something is in there, sends out the signal to the repeater. Repeater sends it in both it comes out of the repeater and goes in both directions. Now, the one that comes over here activates the dispenser, kicks an object out. The one that comes over here comes back and toggles the comparator, turning it back to the off mode. So that as soon as it's in off, this string loses its power, which lets the comparator go back to doing its job. This is in case you end up with multiple items in there. It'll continue to tick on and off, kicking them all out, so you won't accidentally, say, because there's 64 chickens in here as well, you won't accidentally end up with the problem with, say, 3 eggs come down at a time, activates the comparator, kicks one out, and then you got two clogging up the system. Let's see, if this string of redstone wasn't here, this just stays on. It's no longer kicking stuff out. The system's now jammed. With this there, it continues to flicker and essentially short out. Okay, now your top half is again, or top third, is again just an inverse of the bottom third. All your chickens, a bunch of dispensers, when your chickens lay their egg, which is approximately once every 5 minutes per chicken, it just goes into the dispenser. So there's your system. And that's the most complicated of the fairly simple chicken farms. There's a lot more sophisticated farms out there, but most of the more sophisticated farms out there aren't automated, which means, yeah, they're more sophisticated, but they're hands-on. Kind of defeats the point of a redstone farm when you have to be sitting there to play with it. So here's the 3 builds I recommend for any beginner that wants a hands-off design. The only time you need to interact with these designs is to come up here. In this case, pull out your eggs. And, oh, also, you see a large stack of meat and such in here? That's from when I first started out. I didn't make it the chicken compartment tall enough, so as soon as I threw them in there, they were drowning to death. So with these 2 designs, you come, you pull out your eggs as you want them. With this design, you come over and you pull out, well, none have grown up yet. I probably should have waited before I started this video. But you pull out cooked chicken and feathers out of here. So those 2, a little better for farming eggs. This one, if you just want plain food. But of course, if you want eggs out of this one, like I showed earlier, just break one of the redstone and it'll jam up the system, come back and empty it later. With these 2, throw your eggs someplace else. Make a separate farm if you want something that's less redstone intensive. If you're on a server that lags, or if you're playing solo and your computer can't quite handle a running machine like this, here you go. If you're going to have these out in the open like I do, you should probably have them covered. This one, once again, make sure that you leave enough room for them to clear the water before they drown to death. And same thing here. Alright, now as per tradition, now that it's the end of one of my videos, we're going to throw some iron blocks in here. 5 stacks of iron blocks. Bury it over. Give you guys a shot at seeing where the coordinates are. And